This episode of Homemade was previously recorded in front of a live stream audience who asked questions and cook along during the show. If you love cooking and want to join us in the kitchen, visit homemadecooking.com to register for free live classes. Now, let's get cooking. I'm blowing kisses. I am just so thrilled to be back in the Homemade kitchen. This is my first class in 2024. I'm Joel Gamoran. I am the founder here at Homemade. I'm also the head chef, and really, really excited for today's class. We're doing this gorgeous, just weekday superhero roasted haddock dish. This is all about the Mediterranean diet, eating fresh, eating whole foods. I think a lot of us have heard about the Mediterranean diet, but we wanted to give you guys a recipe that is not only delicious, but healthy and also really doable. Here we go. Step one to this dish is we're gonna cook bulgur. Now bulgur, for those of you guys who don't know, I'll kind of hold this up so you guys can see. Bulgur is kind of like, it's like a cracked whole wheat grain. And if you look at it, it's literally like a whole grain just cracked into a million different little pieces. And I think the word bulgur sounds a little bit vulgar. I don't know why. People just don't think, ooh, I'm craving bulgur tonight. But when you start to like really understand how to flavor it, which is to just dress it almost like a salad, treat it like couscous or pasta, you realize there is so much benefit and so much flavor in this. It's got a nutty toastiness to it that I absolutely love. So step one is I have some water boiling in just a little saucepan, and I'm just going to add the bulgur right in. No salt, no nothing, just let that start to kind of come to the boil, and when it comes to the boil, meaning it's got those big hot tub bubbles, that's when I just turn it down to a simmer, right? And I just kind of let that simmer for about 20 minutes. So it will take about 20 minutes for this to cook. Again, I'm treating it like pasta, like I'm dropping it in water. And while that's going, I've got my oven preheated to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. I know we've got some friends in Canada and Australia and Japan, so I don't know what that is Celsius, but Kat's on it. She'll put it in the chat.
200 degrees Celsius.
Yes, and I forgot, oh my God, I'm out of practice. I forgot to introduce Kat. Kat is one of our amazing chefs, and she is always on standby right next to me managing the chat. And Kat, I know, had a great holiday, yes?
I did. I visited home. I went back to Hawaii. Ate good.
Could you imagine if your home is Hawaii? Like, come on. She's eating fish every day. Let's just marvel at that.
The first thing I did when I went home was eat some poke. I ate some poke when I got home.
All day, every day, I'd be doing the same thing. Well, great to have you back, Kat. And if you guys need anything, she's in the chat in regards to the recipe. So we've got the oven 400 degrees. We're gonna cut up 3 vegetables, and these are super colorful ones too. We've got a couple of bell peppers, and we've got a gorgeous red onion. We'll start with the red onion here. And I'm just gonna like nick off the bottom. And you'll notice on the red onion, when you're cutting it up for roasting, there's kind of this root side, right? And then there's the non-root side. So the root's got the little white bit in it. And what I like to do is kind of cut through the root, right? And then I kind of sit it open like this, and I try and cut wedges, leaving a little bit of the root intact. And that holds this little cluster of onion together. And I think it kind of gives it a little bit of a nice mouthfeel. You can kind of see these kind of stay together in like little clusters. So I'm gonna scoop all this up. I'm gonna put it in a little sheet tray. I'm gonna move this sheet tray so you guys can see what's going on over here. All right, so all these puppies are on. Those look great. And then I've got some pepper. Cut the top off. Cut the bottom off. Put your knife in and kind of sneak it in underneath this membrane here, and then roll the pepper, cutting along the way. And what you're left with is all the seeds and kind of the pith fall out. You're left with this perfect sheet of pepper that's easy to cut. And then these extra little bits, you just take out this little hat, put that with the others for compost, and you are left with all the good parts. So at this point, we've kind of chunked up our peppers and our beautiful red onions, and I'm gonna just take some rosemary and just kind of pinch it at the top and zip it down the stem and just sprinkle that over the top. Look how gorgeous. I mean, I already want to eat this. It's raw and I just want to go after it. This looks like a cookbook right here. I love it. We've got some paprika. This is going to add a smokiness, but also just a little bit of heat on the back. So a couple of big pinches of paprika, good big pinch of salt, and then a lot of good glugs of olive oil. Oh, this looks amazing. All right. Then you just got to get in there and massage it all up. And then I'm going to pop it in the oven. I'm a chef. I want more heat. I don't know why. I'm going to go 450. And you don't have to. It will still caramelize at 400, but I just like a little bit more. What were you going to say, Kat?
I have to say, having a hot pan is so important when it comes to giving your food flavor. Having a hot pan makes such a difference.
No question. It's not about how much butter or fat, or it's really not. It's so much technique. Salt, of course, helps bring out the flavor, but if you can't eat that much salt, really acid, citrus, vinegars, those types of things help season foods as well. So we're going to make a little topping, but it's made with nuts. We're using whole untoasted pecans. We're using a little bit more rosemary just to kind of mirror what we put on the vegetables, which is already smelling incredible. I've got 1 clove of garlic. So I'm putting this all in just a little food processor here, and then I'm going to pulse it. And again, just kind of grind it until I like the texture. And for this, I want it pretty fine because I want a nice even toast. But I don't want it sand, right? I just want it like, you know, just a nice, simple grind. This looks awesome. So easy. So what we've got now, if we've got some haddock. And on the West Coast, what we use sometimes is cod, East Coast haddock. But any flaky whitefish, halibut would be gorgeous for this. We've got a couple of fillets. And the best thing to do at this point is to kind of, if you're not comfortable filleting it, you can ask the grocery store or your fishmonger to fillet it. But I lay them out on a little plate or a sheet tray, and I just grab a little bit of this crumb topping. And I kind of want to overload the fish, right? So you're kind of like, I almost don't want to see the flesh of the fish. It's more about texture than anything. And I love a flaky fish, but man, I love a crunch as well. And so to combine these two things is really nice. So really kind of pat in this crust and overdo it. Overdo it. I almost, again, don't want to see the fish. And then you can almost use your hands and just kind of lightly tap in the crumb. But you don't want to tap it too flat. Just give it a really good crust. Really, really simple. All right? I'm going to hit with a little bit of black pepper. Little bit of salt, and a little bit of olive oil. And that's just going to give it a little bit of browning, a little bit of love. But I'm just going to let that kind of hang out for about 5 minutes here. And then I'm going to literally just toss it on top of the vegetables. Not literally toss it, but you get the idea. I'm going to lay it on top of the vegetables. So at this point, we've got the bulgur, and I just want to try it. I just want to see where we're at. So I'm just going to kind of get in there. This is just like pasta, right? Like I'm just going to get in there, grab a little bit, and you can see the bulgur has kind of swelled up a little bit. So at this point, it's plump. It looks a lot more appetizing, right? It doesn't look like cereal or oatmeal anymore. It looks like something I really want to eat. It's perfect. And I take this whole lot here, and I'm just going to drain it. So at this point, I'm going to go, pun intended, fish out the vegetables. Let's see how we look. Oh yeah, these are about halfway there. Look at, they're already looking stunning. I'm going to grab our haddock fillets and just lay them right over the top. Fish is going to cook for about 8 minutes or so. All right, so for this dressing and for the base of this bulgur salad, we've got this orange. And first step to the orange, you know, you guys know me, I'm not a big wasty guy. Use the whole orange. So I got a little microplane here, and I'm gonna just take the orange and just get all the zest off this orange. And I'm just rubbing the outside of the orange, just trying to get the zest of the orange, but always moving to a new part of the orange. I don't wanna go back over the white part. You know, really go after it. All right, so that's about a tablespoon of orange zest. Then we've got the actual juice itself. I'm gonna squeeze that into this bowl. So that's looking good. Then we've got these tomatoes. I'm just going to quarter these. Actually, I'm going to cut them a little bit smaller than quarters. These are some big ones. All right, so I've got some fresh basil and a handful of fresh mint. I just take a handful of both. I kind of roll it up, and then I just give it a good chop. I'm going to add those herbs to a big bowl. I'm going to add the rest of my dressing and these tomatoes to a big bowl too. And now I'm going to take my super dry, unbelievably cooked, perfectly cooked bulgur. That's going in. A nice big pinch of salt. A couple of good glugs of olive oil. And then I'm just going to mix this whole thing together. Salad is done. I want to hold that up just so you guys can see it. So push that to the side. Oh, all right. Take a look at this. Holy mackerel, or I should say holy haddock. Wow. Crispy, so the nuts just got slightly toasted. The vegetables are jammy and caramelized. This is what home cooking is all about, and the Mediterranean diet for that matter. But we've got just some homemade or store-bought hummus, whatever you can find. We have our gorgeous, call it tabbouleh, but it is tomato, orange juice, the bulgur. We've got our jammy, gorgeous roasted vegetables with our flaky, perfectly flaky haddock with just this beautiful pecan topping. I mean, again, if you weren't listening to me yap away for 40 minutes, this thing will take 20, 25 minutes top to rock out. Really simple cooking, but I'm going to grab a little bit of these veg. All right, and then I'm going to grab this just falling apart, buttery haddock, and I'm just going to place that right there. And then a nice big scoop of kind of this bulgur salad. Look at that. It's so interesting and so different. I love it. And then I love this addition. And again, it kind of drives home the Mediterranean, but just grabbing a dollop of hummus right in the middle. And I don't know. I mean, when you talk about what you crave, look at that. So vibrant, so light, so interesting, and so damn good for you. I can't even get over it. Like, this is one of those things that I just have to drive home. If you can cook from scratch, you can cook incredibly. So let's give this puppy a try. I'm going to grab a little hummus, a little of these warm roasted vegetables, of course the haddock, and then try a little bit of that bulgur, a little bit of everything. That's all day. That is all day. I will eat this all day, like every day. This is how I like to eat. You know, it's fun to eat rich foods and over-the-top foods every once in a while, but on a daily, weekly, regular basis, it's this. This is the type of food, when you're done, you feel so good after. You know what I mean? It feels like fuel versus like holding you down. Happy cooking, and take care, everybody. See you soon. Hey there, I'm Joel Gamoran. I'm the head chef and founder of Homemade, and we launched Homemade with the idea that we want to bring cooking and the kitchen to the world. So if you love cooking and want to join us in one of our free live stream cooking classes, head to our website, homemadecooking.com. That's homemadecooking.com to register today.